Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Everyone out there, in here, everywhere. This is Call Me Nakomi, and welcome to Call Me Nakomi World for an episode of Call Me a Sports Fan. We have so much to talk about when it comes to football. It is like the epicenter right now going on because there's so much going on, in the world. Hold on, let me change my thing. I'd like to believe that crop layout, blah, blah, blah. All right. Maybe when you start talking, basically, it'll come back, it'll bring it back to you. But I got my friend here, my homeboy, my compadre. Hold up. Oh, that's what happened. Oh, he got okay.
I
My
got booted.
compadre.
Sorry, I
Get
got
out.
booted.
No worries, no worries. My homeboy Omarr is back in the building, here to represent for Green Bay Nation, Packer Nation out here. Salute to you, my bro. Salute.
Go
Hey,
Pack, go baby. Go Pack, go.
somebody had to take him down, and I appreciate the fact that it was you guys. I so appreciate it.
I just have one thing to say. So, how about them Cowboys?
How about them goddamn Cowboys? You gotta go. I'm gonna start going ahead and just putting a damn on there. It's kind of like there's a wrong goddamn time. How about them goddamn Cowboys? That's how I feel right now, man. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
It is.
Before I start off any further, happy Martin Luther King Day to you, Omarr, to everyone out there watching, coming back in to live stream. I hope people out there will plug in either on the rewatch or come out and hang with us live right now. But we want to talk about a whole bunch of things. But today is Martin Luther King Day, the day that we show and celebrate our love for and respect and our admiration and our gratitude for Martin Luther King Jr., the preacher turned civil rights activist turned martyr who died in the struggle trying to give us civil rights, not just for one person, not just for his family, not just for Black people, but for everyone. Because basically, like he said, if one person has no civil rights, no one has civil rights. Plain and simple. I might have not have quoted it completely exactly correctly, but that's basically the gist of the quote that he gives. But on this great day, some people got stomped. I mean, no. So yesterday, some people got stomped. Tonight, somebody's gonna get stomped too. But we're gonna talk about that. How are you doing, my friend? You had a beautiful night last night, and let's go ahead and get into it. The Packers, Cowboys. The Packers, Cowboys. I'm not exactly sure. You invited me to come out and hang with you for the watch. I couldn't do it. I was just hanging with family, my immediate family right yesterday. So, but I couldn't come through. But how was the watch party for you, my friend? How did you have it?
So first, yes, happy MLK Day. It's a day that has gotten washed away a lot over, the last decade or so, but it is still a remembrance of a man who did sacrifice his life. Again, hear that correctly. He literally sacrificed his life, for an entire set of people, all of us, everybody, for everybody to be able to have their voice, everybody to be able to go to school together, everybody to be able to eat at the same restaurant without having to be beaten, sprayed with water hoses, dogs sicked on them, having to go to jail, all to eat a meal at a damn countertop. All right.
Like a regular human being. Just to be treated like a regular human being.
To be able to use the bathroom. Think about this. To use the same bathroom, drink from the same water fountain, not having to go out back, not having to sit in the back of a bus, to have the same human decency rights. So a lot of people like to throw him under the bus, like to say, man, he ain't do nothing. He ain't shit. He ain't this. He ain't that. First of all, until you were willing to do what he did, I don't want to hear nothing from you.
Absolutely.
So first, happy MLK Day to you, ma'am. Secondly, let me tell you about last night. Let's get into this, shall we? Let's roll on this.
Come through, bro.
I'll be the first to tell you. I will be the very first to tell you. Our season has been a roller coaster of emotions. Did I think at the beginning of the season that Jordan Love would be balling like he has? Absolutely not. Hell no.
Fair. Fair.
Nobody could have possibly told you this would have been Jordan, our team. Our team is derived on offense of all the skilled positions, first and second year players.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Love
Very
is
young team.
a 4-year player, but this is his first starting year. So for 3 years, he has literally had 1 start, 6 passes, 3 interceptions, 3 touchdowns before this season started.
Right. Youngest team in the league.
Youngest team in the league. We're the first team ever to do the following. We are the first team ever to go to the playoffs as the youngest team in the league. We're the first team ever to have a 7th seed and beat a number 2 seed or higher.
Bing.
Never has happened again. Jordan Love also set a record to being having the highest quarterback rating in a playoff game in the history of the Packers. Think about that. We've had before 2 Hall of Famers. 2. One is going to be a Hall of Famer when he retires in Aaron Rodgers. Brett Favre. 2 Hall of Fame. That is so having those 2 ballers as your quarterback and Jordan Love coming in to set the record? Come on now. Jordan record also set the Green Bay Packers record for most touchdowns in a first season quarterback at 32. He came in the league number 2 in touchdown passes behind who? Oh yeah, Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott had 34 touchdowns on the year. Jordan Love had 32. Jordan Love also finished 6th in passing yardage at 4,139 passing yards. First year starter. We skated into the playoffs. I will say that. I will admit that we did.
But I mean, that happens. Wild card. As a New York Giants fan, wild cards can win the Super Bowl.
They can. So, Green Bay proved that. Green Bay and the Steelers are the only 2 6 seeds to ever win the Super Bowl. Ever. So the fact is, we skated in. We're playing with house money right now. We have nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. We have played well beyond anybody's expectations of our team. So that right now, facing Dallas, everybody was like, "Oh, Dallas is gonna take it, man. They're undefeated at home. They gonna blow us out the water." Let's see what happens, shall we? First quarter, Green Bay asked for the ball. What we do? Go down the field, 7 points. First quarter, held Dak Prescott to goose egg, 0. Hear me correct. 0 passing yards the entire first quarter. Dak Prescott had 46 total passing yards the first half. That includes an interception.
A bad interception at that.
Correct. So when we balled, we got a pick 6 on this man. He had 400 passing yards, but that's because we put our second string deep. Hear me out when I say this, America. We put our second string team offense and defense in with 6 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. Who does that?
I mean, someone with a big amount of cojones, but at the same time, it's mind game.
It is.
Off to LaFleur. LaFleur said, "We playing chess with these checker players out here. They not real. They not real." Listen, continue. I'm gonna go.
Then all right, here. Let's even go a little bit deeper into that. Everyone's gonna say, "Oh man, you guys got ballers. You got Christian Watson was playing. Jalen Reed, they've been balling on." Christian Watson had 3 catches all game. Jalen Reed didn't have a single. Jalen Reed didn't have a single catch, and he leads our team in touchdowns. He leads our team in touchdowns with 9. He did not have a single catch.
Exactly.
So without using Christian Watson or Jalen Reed, we still one. Now, mind you, the score is not indicative of how bad the game was.
No, it was. If you were watching around first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, you would realize that, oh, did Dallas even come to the game? Because it
Facts.
looked like they didn't even show. I mean, it was
No
27 to
quarterback
zip.
sacks.
I was like,
None.
27 to zip. What the what?
Yep. We had no quarterback sacks on us at all. We had very little pressure was put on to Jordan Love. Our offensive line played like they were elite. Dallas
That
had
is the
15.
indictment.
Here's how this great. Dallas has 15 players on its roster going to the Pro Bowl this year.
Mm-hmm.
Green Bay has none.
Hold them all-star team.
Zero.
Yep.
And we demolished Dallas in their home.
They started drinking their own Kool-Aid, bro. That's what happened. That's what happened. They started drinking their own Kool-Aid. And
Green Bay,
Jim Jones, Jerry Jones.
Yes. Yep. You're right. Since 2009, Green Bay is 10-1 against Dallas. We are 5-0 in the playoffs. Excuse me. I'm sorry. We are 5-0 at AT&T Stadium.
Yep.
We've won 3 playoff games in Dallas. Guess how many Dallas has won? 2.
Oh, they have 2. Yeah, they
how does Green Bay have more playoff wins in your stadium than you have in your own stadium?
Because they're the Dallas Cowboys, man. I mean, what else we talking about? It's the Dallas Cowboys.
So I'm feeling it. All the Cowboy fans that were last night were mad.
Big
mad.
No. They're quiet. They are quiet. I could drop a pin right now, and it would sound like I could drop the bomb in the middle of Dallas. Okay. All right. Plain and simple. Going in right off the top, as far as my expectations for the Green Bay team, I said from the beginning of the season, I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna go ahead and pick up Jordan Love as my backup quarterback because you know what." I feel like Green Bay usually knows what they're talking about when they especially when their approach to quarterbacks, absolutely brilliant. And it could probably only happen in a small market team like Green Bay, where you could draft your quarterback and let that star do what they want to do while the young one sits back and does just absorb all the information they could possibly do. And with the coach is going to basically have them in the future. And I was just like, you know what? I kind of feel good about Jordan Love. I feel like at the very least, he's going to come out and he might surprise some people. So I picked him up on all of my fantasy leagues as my backup quarterback. And when he got a little hurt, I was just like, I might have to sing, but I kept him in at least 2. I had to drop him in 1 because basically my starting quarterback was gone. But then basically I was like, oh, I'm starting Jordan Love over my starter by the end of the season. You know what I'm saying? By the end of the season, I was just like, yo, Jordan Love is basically doing better than my starters were. And that was Tua, and that was Trevor Lawrence, and that was Justin Herbert. I was starting him over those guys.
Well, Justin Herbert went out for the season.
Yeah, he went out. He went out.
15, 16? No.
About 14.
Week 14. Week 14.
Yeah, he was out for like 3 weeks for me. So I wouldn't say confidence, but I had a feeling, especially with the way that he had some tools there. He had Romeo and he had Christian Watson, and I was like, okay, he had some targets. Let's see, and he had some wheels. The way he started off the season, he started off hot. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna stick with my man. You know what I mean? I'm gonna stick with my man. So, but the season, it happens. It's okay. Sometimes young teams, the Giants basically came in as a wild card. You just got to keep on fighting. That's what football is. You never know what's going to happen. You got to come in every single week. You got to put your best foot. You got to put your best foot forward and just make as little mistakes as possible. And somehow you'll come up with wins. You'll come up with wins sooner or later. So when they basically rolled that momentum into the playoffs, I was like, okay, let's see what's going on. But they pulled Dallas. First, and I was like, Dallas's defense. I wasn't really worried about the offense. The offense was great. It's supposed to be great.
They were averaging 40 points per game at home. Dak Prescott, the defense ranked 5th in the league. They literally were undefeated at home, had the best home record of the entire NFL.
You know, Dak was the man. CB was pulling up 160 at night. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Yep.
I figured, all right, at the very least, hopefully Green Bay can make this can make this interesting. Because with through the whole entire week, when everybody was at work asking me, so who you got? Who you got? What's going on? Who you got in the Super Bowl? I'm just like, I feel like it's gonna be I feel like it's gonna be Baltimore, and just because it should be San Francisco, but just because it would make me feel good, kind of like Homeboy in Players Club, it will make me feel better. I want Dallas to get to the Super Bowl and then lose to Baltimore. I want it to hurt. I want it to hurt as much
That's
as possible. Petty. Yes, that is petty, and that's football. Simple. That is my man. That is Jameis Wilson. Jameis Williams.
Yes, Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston.
Yes.
Put the touchdown when they whooping what's his name's ass.
That's the way to end the game. The way Jameis Winston ended that game, man, I tell you.
That's football. That's the kind of football I like. Plain and simple. Like Gino Ariema said, if you're beating them by 20, damn it, you should be beating them by 30. And that is my philosophy when it comes to sports. If you're going to kill them, go ahead and do it. So I was just like, you know what I mean? That's how I felt it was going to go. But I thank you for this Christmas, New Year's miracle that we get to savor their disappointment for even longer weeks. We don't get to have them have their build up and talk about this is our year. We had that all season. I just love it. I love
the way Jerry Jones looked.
I love it.
In the game, during the game, when we got it at 27-0, they peered up to Jerry Jones in his sweet box with his friends and family, and he was throwing a whole tantrum. He was all in his feelings.
I don't know what was on that card, but he was beating the shit out of that card. and I absolutely loved it. Although they like Shannon was saying, they didn't show too much of the crowd for the reactions, but they were showing some crowd reactions before. They were crying.
They had the best video. They showed a family. Mom, dad, and their two boys. House divided. They had the dad and the son wearing the Green Bay. They had the mom and the other son wearing Packers. They had the son wearing the Packers, was in his mom's lap crying, while the other son was in the Packers screaming and laughing and having greatest. It was picture perfect. Couldn't have been a better screen. It was
scene. I love it. I love it. That's what dreams are made of. Okay, all right. Let's get away from our haters, the playing haters ball that we putting on right now. But let's get serious. I mean, historical just breakdown. I mean, the team was supposed to be the Super Bowl. I mean, people were basically putting Dak into the MVP candidate, Michael Parsons into the Defensive Player of the Year. They were running off wins, and they
CeeDee Lamb was in the talk for Offensive Player of the Year.
Offensive Player of the Year. You know what I mean? So it was a historic collapse, plain and simple. What that told me because I was watching something with my wife. I got to give my family, time. So, but when I basically was able to turn on, and I was like, what the hell? They beating them like this? I was just like, oh, they wasn't ready. They wasn't ready. They talk so much. That's why Bill Belichick teams are so successful. Don't nobody got nothing to say. We gonna show what we gotta say on the field. But y'all had so much. Marcus Parsons and his podcast, just like Draymond Green. Y'all doing too much talking. Let's come out and play. What y'all got? What y'all have? Y'all doing too much talking. So they talk all this big shit, and then they basically just laid a complete egg, and then all those extra points is fluff. Fluff. Y'all got wiped out. They got wiped out.
Yep, they're showing how Dak Prescott had 3 touchdowns. Those 3 touchdowns came when our second string was already in the game. The 300 and something yards came when our second string was already in the game. It was garbage time.
Because
It
Michael Ford
was
knows,
like I said,
okay,
the score is not indicative of how the score is like. Oh, Green Bay barely won. It was only by no.
you
You have to
tripping. He was
understand the
watching the game.
entire game.
He was watching the
Right.
game.
Correct. So
They were
yes,
scratching just to save face because they could have
correct.
basically checked. They could have mailed it in for the last 6 minutes. But at the same time, I was just like, okay, I'm not even surprised that it was their second string. I didn't even know that was the Green Bay second string in. But they
It
would have
was.
had to rattle off 2 touchdowns in the last 2 minutes. That was
Nope.
impossible.
Yeah, they took out Jordan Love. They took out Aaron Jones. They took out our starting D line. They took out our starting linebackers. It was our complete second string was on offense and defense. So for the last 6 minutes of the fourth quarter, they were playing our JV squad.
Run it up. Go ahead.
Exactly.
We still on to the next one.
Right. So, but yes, you are correct. Dallas, this was Dallas's year. This was the year that with all the free agency pickups from Brandon Cooks to the contract extensions to
Pollard.
the draft. Yeah, yes. All of these things culminated to this was their year. They again 3 consecutive years of having 12-game wins.
12-5.
Right. Second in the league, undefeated at home. Dak is balling out of his mind. 34 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. I mean, he was CeeDee Lamb balling out of his mind. Stupid. Just absolutely stupid. I think he had 1,300 and something receiving yards on the year. I mean, he was just absolutely just going nuts. And yet, Dallas does what Dallas does. 28 consecutive years of not getting to the championship game. 8-1 win one and done games. 8-1 in the playoffs and 1 and done.
Mike McCarthy is what 1-3?
Yes, 1 and 3 since he got to Dallas. 1 and 3. So this is their second most in NFL history behind Minnesota. Minnesota. No, Minnesota. No, actually, not even the Browns. They're second most behind Minnesota for their most amount of times not reaching the NFC champ. Yes, not reaching the championship game.
That's a shame. That's absolutely a shame. I mean, they had all. They should have at least beat the Green Bay Packers. I'm not saying that they would have made to the Super Bowl. I don't know what they would have did against San Francisco or whoever it is. Detroit might have laid them out too. I mean, it is what it is. The way
after that last Detroit Dallas game, the revenge was waiting.
Absolutely, they were coming for that. They were ready to play them, but. It's all right. That Detroit, keep it in your holster. You still got, you good, plain and simple. But this was unexpected, unacceptable, plain and simple for a team that has aspirations of winning a Super Bowl. I don't know what. Well, I could speculate on what they need to do, but at the same time, there's a lot of soul searching that needs to go on right now in that in that front office.
So are there pink slips coming?
Where they're gonna go, huh?
Are there pink slips coming?
Oh, absolutely. All right, so we're gonna get into that right now. So what do we need to change? What kind of changes do you think needs to happen?
Dan Orlovsky said it earlier today. You need a clean house. We talking about everybody getting the pink slip. We started from scratch, and he got a point. Look, Dan Quinn was a great DC.
Dan Quinn, yes,
is a great DC. He's a great DC, but he got outplayed by our head coach.
His team was not ready. His team was not ready. It's one thing to be a great, week to week, check the film, see what these people like to do. It's one thing to do that. It's another thing when it gets down the championship, it's a got to. It's
Yep.
not, it's not a let's try and see. It's a got to. And those players, to me, the way that Green Bay came through, the fact that they couldn't do they couldn't make any type of real adjustments, or at least let it translate. Even if he called in adjustments, it didn't translate to the players if that's what happened, plain
It
and
didn't.
simple. So I mean, you are obviously showing that either your players are just listening to you, but and it's not translating, or you're not getting them focused the way they need to for the playoffs. Whole nother animal. NFL, NBA, whatever it is, it has to be they are lockstep. They are locked in. They know exactly what it is from the whistle to the whistle. You have to basically be completely locked in, and you have
They
to
looked
say
past
they
Green Bay.
not scoring.
They looked past Green Bay. Let's
That's
be
what
real.
happened.
Let's call a spade a spade. They saw Green Bay just trickled into the playoffs. Green Bay is inexperienced, which we are. We are the most inexperienced team in the entire playoff.
Y'all play with house money. I mean,
AFC, NFC doesn't matter. We're the most inexperienced team going in the entire playoffs. They looked past us. They just thought, oh, Jordan Love, who is he? He's ever been here. He's in Dallas. Oh, he's going to choke. Oh, these first and second year players, oh, they can't handle the lights. They're not going to be able to. They looked right past us and looked forward to either playing Detroit or playing Tampa or Philly.
Philly, right.
So they were just like, nope.
So we're gonna mash these young kids out, and let's see what we're gonna really do with the real game. You know what I mean? That's basically how they went into it. And it's any given Sunday.
Yep.
Any given Sunday, they need that. They completely dislike. And this is exactly so. Clean house, absolutely. There's some pieces that need to be put out on the curb. I don't know if anybody's going to pick it up on their way past, but at the same time, absolutely. Defensive coordinator, you're good. But at the same time, I don't know if it's the offensive coordinator or if it's the head coach that basically didn't stress the importance. And if they don't know, if the Cowboys don't understand the gravity of the situation that they were basically entering into, who would?
Hey, I'm sorry. Continue talk. I have a family emergency. I'll be right back.
Go ahead. If the Cowboys don't understand the gravity of what they were facing, that every single game counts, not just for the playoffs. Every game counts when you're basically ending the season. You had a great run. You end the season strong. You go into the playoffs. You don't take a day off. It took me a while to basically think about how they still crucify Odell Beckham Jr. for going out on for going to take it, and they say it was his boat trip, and they blame him for it. And I don't know exactly if it's his or whomever it is to blame for that. But the loss of concentration because you decided to go and celebrate something that you haven't really done. Making the playoffs is not an accomplishment. Making the playoffs is not an accomplishment. I'm going to say hi to my people locking in right now. Waterholic Ozzy, how you doing? Thank you for coming through. I really appreciate you for coming by. He said, good day. Good, call me world. How you doing? I'm glad I'm good on ball, but a bit lost on the NFL. I mean, hey, it's okay. You can basically always tap in. I wish I would have got more time to do more NFL coverage this year, but it's a great sport, even though it's very, very violent, and sometimes it basically might leave someone impaired for the rest of their lives. Unfortunately, the American public were weaned on this gladiator sport that we call football. And but it's a great sport with great drama, and it's something to behold. I hope you tune in for the Super Bowl at the very least. It's basically like the pageantry and the stakes that are on the line. It's a lot. So it's a great sport, but it's okay. But I appreciate you either way. Educate you, no problem, son. B-ball, damn spell. No, it's okay. It's all good. Football is basically, I do watch Super Bowl every year. Absolutely. I mean, hey, even my father, at the very least, he watches the Super Bowl. If he doesn't watch, if we're not over, he probably wouldn't tune in to watch, but he stays, he stays plugged in to see what's, who's playing. He kind of knows some of the players, especially maybe a little bit, back in the old days when we were back up in Pennsylvania and you had the Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, and they both were very, very good at the time. So he was far more plugged in then. But now he still basically plugs in every once in a while. But it's a great sport. It's basically, deals with 100 yards. One team gets the ball, they have 4 tries to advance the ball 10 yards. And if they advance the ball within those 4 tries 10 yards, and they get another 4 tries to advance the ball 10 yards. And once they basically make that from one goal line to the other goal line, which is 100 yards, they score 6 points. And then they get a chance to kick the extra point for a field goal. I mean, I know I'm basically it's very, very remedial right now. And I don't mean to, to insult anybody who already knows football, but at the same time, in case anybody doesn't exactly know, I mean, let me know exactly what it is that you might want some information on, but I'll basically go ahead and give it to you guys if you ever want to know how it works. I'm not a complete expert myself, but I love the game and I've been around it for a very long time. So, I have, a lot of deep feelings about football. But it's sports and it's competition, and when it comes down to it, whether be it boxing, UFC, football, baseball, basketball, team sport, or individual sport, it comes down to the same kind of thing. You have to be focused. You got to be locked in. You have to understand your opponent, and you have to have an idea in your mind. Like, nothing used to disappoint me more than for a person to tell me that their coach, like I used to talk to some young people sometimes, and a coach would tell them, well, this team is a top ranked team in the whole league. So we're probably going to lose, but just go out there and play and have fun. Nothing used to irk me more than to have a coach basically already psych you out before the game even starts. If I was a coach, and I have been a coach before, and if I was a coach, I would have my team at the very least so psyched up to say, you know what? Go ahead and steal that game from them. And if they basically beat you, make them have to earn every single point. And that is what a coach is supposed to do. It's supposed to push those buttons. You've been playing this game your entire life. Ain't nothing that somebody, I mean, if when you get to a certain level, it's but so much that somebody could teach you about the game. They teach you about the mentality of winning. And that's what a coach is supposed to do. And it's supposed to push those buttons to get you ready. And Mike McCarthy, Dan Quinn, whoever the hell it is in the coaching staff did not get that team ready. And that's all I'm saying, plain and simple. Laker Nation, which is NFL, do you favor? I mean, I'm a Laker fan above all. I love my New York Giants. But if I had to pick one team to be buried in a jersey for, it's a Kobe Bryant jersey. Absolutely. So, but anyway.
I heard everything that you were saying. I apologize for stepping away. I may have to step away one more time.
Life happens in my family.
Single parent life, it happens. So, but I did hear everything you said. And yes, Dallas, absolutely. Again, Dallas overlooked Green Bay. They did. They thought they were, Green Bay was going to be outclassed, outmatched, outcoached, out everything. And they absolutely, as I say, shit the bricks. They did. And unfortunately, and that this Dallas just showed right here in this past game exactly what happens when you overlook a team.
Absolutely.
Green Bay again has nothing else to prove. Nothing. Nothing. Green Bay
freshman coach.
Right now, they have nothing. Even the coach has nothing to prove.
I mean, freshman quarterback. Coach is maybe a junior. I mean, come on now. You basically coming in from after leaving a goat, a quote unquote, GOAT.
The GOAT of the NFL, right? Exactly.
You know what I mean? He has one championship and like 4 MVPs. I mean, how many MVPs does Aaron Rodgers have?
4.
Exactly. So this is the dude that he's replacing. So it's house money. The expectations is for you to go out there and be competitive. That's all he needed to do from the first game to the last game, and that's exactly what he needed to do. The Cowboys, though, on the other hand, just thought to themselves that this little team is gonna roll over for me to scratch their belly and let me go on to my next game. And they got taught wrong. And that whole entire team is gonna be flipped over because of that foolishness. And y'all have your whole fan base hurting. I hope that is what stays with them, not the people who's gonna lose their jobs, not the people who's gonna maybe not get a $40 million contract, so they might get a $30 million contract. Not that. Your fan base who comes out every single year, and all they want you to do is win a playoff game. They probably would even celebrate for you winning a playoff game. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, NFL championships to me are harder to win than NBA championships.
Well, yeah, because think about it. If you look since 2000, how many back-to-back NFL champions do you have? Just off the top of your head, how many back-to-back NFL champions do you have since 2000?
The last one I can remember is I'm not exactly that happened in 2000s. The last one is the Patriots, and that was what, 14 years ago? I don't know.
It was the Patriots, and the last back-to-back was from 2000 to 2003. That was it. Patriots.
Exactly. Patriots.
And then they did it again 2 years later when they won the back-to-back. But again, that was it. Patriots. The chances of you winning a back-to-back Super Bowl compared to winning back-to-back NBA championships, no. You have a better shot of winning back-to-back NBA championships because you have more games to play. Think of an NBA playoff series.
You get 4 tries. You got 7 tries to win 4 games.
7 tries to win. NFL, you get one and done. That's it.
It's it. That's where basically, that's why I respect the NFL so much, because of the fact that it's okay. You got 17 games to get as many wins as you possibly can get. And your record is your record. That's why I love the draft too, because hey, your record is your record. If you want to tank, no problem. But basically it is what it is. But at the end of that, you show your mettle by you go in and you prove that you're the best team by not losing anything. You don't lose, and you go all the way to the championship, and that's basically why I love the NFL. But I don't want to stick on the Green Bay. Congratulations to the Green Bay Packers for ruining the Cowboys' year. I thank you so much. I'm gonna send you all a care package, maybe a ham or a basket. I'm
sending a basket of cheese. A basket of cheese.
It's only right, sir. It's only right. Plain and simple. So I don't want to be like all these other shows that basically talked about nothing but the Cowboys. All what's name, because they wasn't even talking about the Packers. They were more so just distraught over the Cowboys, like they haven't proven to you that is exactly who they are. This is who they are every single year until they change it up. So before I move on to the Lions and Rams game real quick, just to finish this whole entire thing off, do you think it needs to be, we said that that Dan Quinn probably needed to get fired. Do you say that some people have thrown out that Dak needs to go? He's on his last year. I say just let him finish it.
Okay, see, that's the thing. So Dak is up for contract extension. So is CeeDee Lamb. So is Micah Parsons.
Sure is.
They're all up for contract extension. There's a whole lot to be discussed this offseason.
Who do you pay? I mean,
so if Dallas is not going to retain Dak Prescott, but even more so, even before you get to the players, are you going to retain your coaching staff? Because whoever the coach is, say they decide to bring in Bill Belichick. Right. Great head coach, phenomenal Hall of Fame head coach.
Absolutely.
Is he going to want to pay Dak Prescott $60 million?
Okay, so he still has 1 full year on his contract, right?
Yes.
Right. I would just let him finish out the contract. If he basically proves to me next year that he can, with a true coach that's going to have the entire team moving in lockstep. If he can do that and into the playoffs, yeah. I'm not even going to basically bother with the extension. He playing for his future. Personally, for me, I'm not even going to do the extension. I'm going to basically let Dak. I'm going to pay Micah. I'm going to pay CB, and I'm going to let Dak play for his food. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. He's a great quarterback. I loved him from back when he basically, when I say love, he went to play for the Cowboys. I can't love him, but I liked him more than I liked Tony Romo. And I thought that when it was time for Tony Romo to step aside, I was like, yeah, Dak Prescott. He looked amazing from the preseason. He looked amazing. So
right.
I'm glad about that. But sometimes, yes, you have regular season quarterbacks, and you have postseason quarterbacks.
Absolutely. And that's
Peyton Manning.
Right there goes to show. That's why Peyton Manning, everybody criticized Peyton Manning because Peyton Manning used to ball out in the regular season. I mean, numbers that were stupid and staggering. But when the postseason showed up, he was never there. His team's always lost.
His scores was like 14, 10, 17. And the rest of the regular season, he was putting up 35s, 42s. You know what I mean? So maybe Dak is like that. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that Peyton Manning wasn't a great quarterback. But I will say that I wouldn't mind letting Dak stay for this last year if he plays well under this next coach, because I'm about to get to the fact that I think that McCarthy needs to go to. And so I think that if he stays and he plays well and he shows that he could win in the playoffs with a real coach that has the whole entire team locked in, not just Dak, not just this person, not but that person, the whole entire team needs to walk in lockstep. You need to basically be focused. And so I would basically give Dak this last year, and then we'll talk about renegotiating and maybe bringing it down a little bit. Or if he basically balls out, you put him in that Patrick Mahomes stratosphere. I mean, it is what it is. But getting to the head coach, do you think McCarthy needs to go?
Yes. McCarthy has shown, not even when he was Green Bay's head coach, he's a great regular season coach. He's shown that. Dallas 12-3, 3 consecutive years, or 12-3, 3 consecutive years of 12 wins each year. 1-3 in postseason.
I mean, it is what it is. The writing's on the wall.
He's not he for some odd reason, his mindset does not translate over to postseason.
He is screaming at you who he is.
Yep.
He's screaming at you, telling you who he is. And I mean, and this basically also speaks to the conversation of coaches over players and which one is the one that really, really wins a game. You know, definitely coaching and preparation is good, but at the same time, when it comes down to it, it's those Tom Brady's that basically did it. You know what I mean? That really did what they needed to do to win games, to win playoff games. The coaches get you prepared. The players go out there and win the game. So the fact that after that one championship that Aaron Rodgers won, I thought that they were going to run off at least 3. I mean, they look like the greatest show on turf with Aaron Rodgers running in touchdowns and doing the double take, the wrestling belt. You know what I'm saying?
If you look, 2014, we went against Seattle. We were up in the fourth quarter by 17 points, and we blew that lead because we took the foot off the gas. You know, same thing. We blew it. Yet again, we went to the NFC Championship. Yeah, it's so hard to win. But if you have to have that championship mindset, even as a coach, to win. It's not just the players. The coaches have to know, look, we can't play the way we played in the regular season. We now have to have a new game scheme, and we have to rev it up and get our players to rev it up. If your head coach is still in regular season form, your team is going to be regular season form.
Exactly. It is going to be okay. Next, second verse, same as the first. I mean, I get it. It's a difference. It's one thing for the team to be like, oh, you know, I'm only looking forward to the next team, or you know, this week was this, and the next week is that, and we're going to basically the next week after that is that. It's a whole nother mindset that you have to be. You have to be like, okay, this team that we are about to play, I mean, this might be an exaggeration, But this team we're about to play, we got to win, or else that's the end.
Yep.
Win or that's the end.
You're
this
absolutely
whole entire
right.
ride is done before you know it. And that, it's that whole, okay, well, there's always next week. No, that has to completely change when it comes to there. So with that being said, what coaches do you feel, or what coach would you like to see, or would you feel like it's a good fit for the coaching job in Dallas if Mike McCarthy is released?
I've thought about this. I've actually talked to a few friends about this. I would have to say Mike Vrabel is a great coach. He's a player's coach. He absolutely knows what to do. I would say who I think deserves a head coaching shot because he is another player's coach. He didn't get the shot, but I think he deserves one. Tampa Bay's former offensive coordinator.
Byron Leftwich?
Byron Leftwich. I think Byron Leftwich would be a really solid head coach, as he knows how to call an offense.
Yes, he does.
He
very much so.
knows how to call an offense.
And is he no longer with Tampa Bay?
He's not with Tampa Bay. He wasn't with Tampa Bay this year.
Okay, go ahead, continue.
But yeah, I think Byron Leftwich would be a great head coach. The fact that he's a great offensive coordinator, he knows how to call the right plays for an offense. Look what he did with Tom Brady.
He took him to a Super Bowl, took him into the playoffs the second year.
Correct. So I think he would be great. They would just need to have a very strong DC if he is the head coach. Another possibility would be what's his name? Actually, I think Dan Quinn would be a good head coach. Now,
so upgrade him from the DC.
Yes, moving him from DC to head coach and putting another mindset defensive coordinator as your DC, I think that would be smart. Take him off of being the defensive coordinator. Have him be the head coach, but have somebody call the offensive plays and have somebody else do the defensive plays. Just have him be the overseer. Because he does. He has the respect of the Dallas Cowboys. He has the respect of that team.
And he's been a head coach before, right?
He was trash for Atlanta. He was.
Yeah, he was. That's what.
It was under his tutelage that they lost 28 to the 28-3 lead. Yeah. In the Super Bowl, but for Dallas, he has that squad's respect. If you made him a head coach, you find another DC, you find an offensive coordinator. I think Dallas would be moving in the right direction. I just don't know. Does Dan Quinn have that postseason mentality? That's what I can't put that out there. I don't know. Now, something else to think about, and I'm gonna put this, and I don't know if you know this. Right now, as we speak, Pittsburgh and Buffalo are playing right now. Right? They're playing their AFC wildcard game. Buffalo's up 14-0 on Pitt.
Okay.
Did you know that this is the last year of Pittsburgh head coach's contract?
Of Mike Tomlin?
Tomlin can opt out of his contract if he so chooses. Now, if he does,
all right, you're making it interesting now. You have my attention.
If he does, Mike Tomlin with the Dallas Cowboys will absolutely put them in a championship. Hear when I say that. Mike Tomlin with the Dallas Cowboys will win them a NFL championship year one.
All right. Okay, so
Mind you,
You're
that's just all. We can't really speak on it because it hasn't happened. So let's not do a deep dive into that. Let's
no,
not. But
no, not at all. But yeah, okay. I feel you completely. It hasn't happened. Mike McCarthy is still the head coach of the Cowboys. Mike Tomlin is playing currently right now as a coach for the Steelers in the playoffs. They are losing, but at the same time, sometimes it's not exactly all on them. It's the fact that not on him rather. The team is just not that great. They have a great defense. The offense is just not that great. So I'll say this. You make a very interesting suggestion there, sir. I didn't even think about whether or not Mike Tomlin would leave, because usually Mike Tomlin, the Steelers coaches don't leave. They usually
don't
stay there until they're die and they basically get buried under the field. Like sooner or later, your boy, what's his name? I forgot his name. The last coach, that's his name. But exactly
he was there for 22 years.
I mean, he was there forever.
Tomlin has been there for 17. Steelers have had less head coaches than any other team in the league.
They've had less head coaches than they've had than they've had starting quarterbacks. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'll put it to you like this. Steelers have had the same amount of head coaches the last 30 years that Green Bay has had starting quarterbacks.
Exactly. Plain and simple. You've had more people buy an NFL team than you've had Steelers
head coaches. Right.
So,
say that.
Over the last 20 years.
Say that.
I mean, so the Steelers, that's how they do. They want to basically keep you until you decide to leave. You're an institution. That is a very, very Mike Tomlin and Byron Leftwich. Woo! That would be amazing. Whether or not Jerry Jones would actually do that, Arkansas picture,
I think that's. I'm gonna put it to you this way. I think that's a little bit too Mississippi for Jerry Jones.
I think that's a little bit too Mississippi for 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi for Jerry Jones. But you never know. But at the same time, I would honestly, my first thought, just basically to complete this whole entire wrap up of the Cowboys wrap up, is I honestly feel like it's made for Bill Belichick. All he needs is the offensive coordinator. And Dan Quinn can step aside if he wants to.
I don't agree with you.
I don't agree with you. I get you, but this is my opinion. So basically, Bill Belichick is looking for a team. He's not looking to play for a very long time. He's looking probably to play for maybe the next 3 years. For coach for the next 3 years. Still have a team that needs him as far as, because they have no real culture and their culture is Jerry Jones. That's not a real culture. The last culture that they had was Jimmy Johnson. So
and you see how that turned out.
I mean, it is what it is. But at the same time, I mean, it is what it is. This is what I feel. I feel like Bill Belichick wants a team that is ready-made and just needs a quarterback. And that's basically, because what I was thinking about, I was just like, okay, he doesn't want to go to a team that's drafting a quarterback. He doesn't want a brand new quarterback he got to break in. So he wants to go somewhere that has an established quarterback and a good team. And you would think the Chargers are probably looking for a coach that's going to be there for at least the next 5 to 10 years. So
they have a young quarterback.
Because they have a young quarterback. So they're going to look for somebody who's going to play, much grow with him or be established and build around him, i.e. Bill Harbaugh. So as far as, he could have took the Atlanta team, whatever, but he would basically eke out maybe 5 wins a year. It would take him 3 years just to basically beat Don Shula's record. You know what I mean? So he wants to probably get into a team. This actually turned out to be one of the perfect situations for him, if that situation actually opens, because this is all hypotheticals, because he is not the coach. They still have a coach, and they still will probably, if they do decide to go and search for coaches, he would probably be a candidate, unless I will say this too. At least saying, and I mean, he's an Aries. So speaking as an Aries, if we say it, we mean that shit. So plain and simple, he said that he has no problem relinquishing, the GM, the GM responsibilities. And honestly, that makes sense. The Cowboys draft really well. They have put together a very, very potent offense and defense. All they need to do is plug in a coach that's going to put in the kind of culture that they need to actually capitalize on all these playoff appearances. So
I agree with you 98% of what you said. I agree with you 98%. The thing that I don't agree with is he and Jimmy are exactly alike. He and Jimmy, they like to have their hands on every aspect of the players and the team. That's why Jimmy was so successful. Is because Jimmy.
That's what success is.
That's what I'm saying. Jimmy had the respect of every decision made for that team. When Jimmy got too big, Jerry was like, no.
Jimmy didn't get too big. Jerry got jealous. That's the problem.
No, that's what I'm saying. Jimmy got too big where everybody loved Jimmy. They weren't talking about Jerry. Oh, you did great by doing no. It was Jimmy. You picked these people. Jimmy, you the coach. You the man. Jimmy. Jerry didn't want that. So now you're going to bring in the greatest head coach of all time, and you think Jerry's just going to sit back and just be like, okay, I'm going to allow him to do what he wants to do and me not say nothing? You crazy. That ain't going to happen.
I'm going to finish this off by saying this. That is the price of success. to have a Phil Jackson, you have to realize that they also come with big personalities.
Absolutely.
You show me Red Auerbach. You show me a absolutely legendary coach, successful legendary coach that doesn't have a big personality to go along with it. You cannot lead. And when I say that
Parcells.
When I say that you think that Bill Belichick don't got personality, because he comes into the news thing, and this is like, yeah, I think that we played pretty well, and we're all even thinking about the team to next. It's all an act. He's the Aries. It's an act. It's an act. My man is cussing and fired up all week long, and he playing with y'all all day. He playing with y'all.
You were funny. You were funny.
I'm saying that's real talk, though. I'm telling you, real talk. But at the same time, hey, it's an Aries. We could dial it back or dial it up, whatever you want, whatever you need. But that is the price of success. And to me, I feel like that basically led to the downfall of the Cowboys. And until Jerry Jones will realize that he is not out there playing, he's not out there coaching, he's barely out there basically picking damn players. I mean, he basically likes to put his stamp on it to act like he really did the work, but that basically is not the work. And so until he basically will step back and realize that these people, not saying that Bill Belichick has to take some humble pie and realize that he basically drafted garbage for the past couple of years. I don't know if it was basically him trying to run off Tom Brady, or if it was really he actually really had faith in these players. You know what I'm saying? Or he was basically doing scorched earth, jilted lover who was just like, I'm going to mess your whole team up before I leave. So I don't know exactly what it was that he had, but until Jerry Jones realized that he needed to take a step back and let the coach take the step forward, the Cowboys are not going to go nowhere. So he's not going to tell the team. I absolutely doubt it. So until he realizes that, or until his son realizes that he doesn't need to be in front of giving post-game interviews. How many owners do post-game interviews?
None.
Exactly. So that.
But none of the other owners. But none of the other owners are also the GM.
Bad juju. I say it all. It's all bad.
Not a single owner in the NFL is also a GM other than Dallas, and that right there is why Dallas will never win another championship, because
the football gods are not pleased.
Jerry does not know football like that. He doesn't. He needs to sit back, be an owner, collect his check, and enjoy the game. Know
what they're talking about,
and enjoy the game. He does not know football. He thinks he knows, but he has the last 30 years not shown you he does not know football on that level.
Absolutely not.
But he is so arrogant that he will never, ever, ever give up power to anybody else.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so we're gonna move on to the Lions Rams real quick. I don't want to keep you for too much longer, but we're gonna just handle that real quick. I can answer other questions. Thank you so much, Wadaholic, Ozzy. I'm gonna answer your questions a little bit later. But Lions Rams, the first Lions playoff win in 30 years. What do you think about that? Goff came in, and I really love the fact that he got the chance to play his old team, because personally, I actually wanted the Giants to draft Goff, but they basically shit all over him, talking about that football wasn't what he loved the most. And he basically came through on the Rams and now on the Lions, putting them in the playoffs and putting them in situations to win. And now they basically realizing what they lost.
Hold up. Wait a minute. The Giants didn't pick Jared Goff because football wasn't Jared Goff's first love.
At least that's what that's a lot of people were talking and saying back in the day.
Let's run with this for a second. You realize Deion Sanders' first love wasn't football. It was baseball. And yet,
I'm not saying it was good.
He's in the NFL Hall of Fame. All right.
I'm not saying it was a good perspective.
I believe there was a running back that played for the LA Raiders. That
Bo?
Also
Bo knows football.
Oh, Bo
knows football.
Bo Jackson.
You know baseball.
Did you know that football? He only played football to stay in shape during the off season for baseball.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that there have been successful players where football isn't their first choice and have been ballers?
I don't even think it was about a separate what's the name? I think that they were saying it was just the chatter around before the draft. There was a chatter that they were saying that, football is not his first love. He actually is. His family is, well off enough that he's not starving enough to make football his first and only love. And I was just like, what kind of damn sense does that mean? You telling me that a rich person can't love basketball and be good at it and want to win?
So how does that work out for the Giants ever since?
I mean, hey, I'm still here hurting because I wanted Jared Goff. I wanted Hurts. There's a lot of quarterbacks out there that I wish we would have went to, and now we basically back on the top on the block.
Since we're talking about the Giants, and I know we're going to get right back to but just while it's on the top of my mind, it has been reported that Barkley will no longer be a Giant after the season.
It's a possibility.
So
if that's the case, I feel like we should go ahead and just basically trade him and try to use him with some pieces to basically
well, you can't trade him. He's not under contract.
We could sign him to it. Well, we can't.
You can only franchise him.
You can only franchise him. You can't trade the franchise.
You can only franchise him.
Well, it be that way. That's how we mess up. That's how we mess up those name. I'm telling you right now, not Dolan. That's the Knicks garbage owner. The Mara team. They need to sell the team. They're horrible. They're absolutely horrible. They messed up a perfect dynasty of team that basically, could have won plenty of games and plenty of championships. I mean, you don't win championships every single year, but we could have stayed competitive for plenty of years. And they just messed it up. They messed it up so many times over and over and over. So yeah.
But getting back to your original question, the Rams-Lions game was a perfect matchup. You bring in two quarterbacks who got traded for one another. Detroit, this is, mind you, first time Detroit's won the NFC North since the 1991 season, where it was actually then called the NFC Central. First time they've been to the playoffs since that same year. First time they won a playoff game since that same year.
Which is crazy because Megatron and Stafford, we're like, dang, they never won.
Right. Let's put it into better perspective for those that are listening that are old enough. The last time that Detroit was in the playoffs, Google wasn't around.
Yeah, exactly.
Cell phones weren't around.
Nope.
The internet was barely being used.
It was the internet. Email.
Email. There was no such thing as a laptop. There was Walkmans and boomboxes were the thing to utilize to listen to music.
Okay.
Uh, Tapes were the thing to use when you wanted to listen to music. There was no DVD players. It was VHS.
Not even a CD burner.
Not even.
Not even a CD burner, son. Because I know I didn't have my first, like, it wasn't even a iPod. It wasn't even an iPod.
No, there was no iPod. No, there was none of that.
I had like a Sony version of an iPod back in like 2003. So I mean,
so 91. So exactly 1991. I'll even back then, if you want to go, this was the time when you had the LA riots.
Yup, that's crazy right there, bro.
So
that's crazy.
That's how old.
A long time.
50% of the fans for Detroit weren't even born.
Your man Barry Sanders was the man back then.
Facts.
That was back when Barry was the dude. And I mean, that was shocking. There's a documentary on Barry that I've been wanting to watch. I just haven't been able to watch it.
You haven't seen it?
But I haven't watched it yet. But I haven't seen the documentary yet before. But I know the man. The man had more moves than
This is how jacked up Detroit has been. Detroit has had 2 Hall of Famers, Barry Sanders and Megatron.
I'm about to say Megatron.
In the prime of their, because they couldn't get them any help at quarterback or an offensive line or another wide receiver to help take the pressure off of them.
They didn't even say, yo, let me go to another team. They said, I quit.
Come on.
It's so cold in the D.
I'm actually, even though Detroit is my mortal enemy because they're NFC North, I actually have to give love to Detroit. Congratulations, Detroit. 30 years of misery. Your coach is the epitome of how a coach is supposed to coach. Let's just throw that out there right now.
First year.
Detroit Lions head coach is a former player. Okay, he was a tight end, former player. He is the epitome of how a coach is supposed to coach a team. He knew that it wasn't going to be a 1-year process. We weren't going to change. We had to change the mindset of this entire team. They are so used to losing. We had to get them out of that mindset of losing, that you were going to lose. Because his first year, his first year, they won 1 game. Second year, they won 5. Third year, they're in the playoffs.
Right. Exactly. I mean, it's about culture change. And that's why, we might disagree, but we agree that, like, the Cowboys, they need a culture change. Tomlin would be a culture change. Belichick would be a culture change. It's a mindset of, we are not the bottom feeders that everyone says we are. We're all professionals. We come through, and if we do play the game the way it's supposed to be played, we will be successful. Yep. Not today. If not today, we're gonna start with 1 win. Next year we're gonna have 5 wins. The year after that, we're gonna maybe make the playoffs. I mean, and this year they came out hot. They came out on the Chiefs like Tommy guns.
It was like they're playing. It's like somebody had the Madden control and was playing Madden with the Detroit Lions. Exactly.
XYXAB all day. I mean, plain and simple. They put the game genie on today on this year. That first game, I watched it. I said, "Oh, the Detroit
against
Lions
Kansas City
playing."
That Kansas City Lions game. Oh my gosh. I thought I'm not even gonna lie. I thought Patrick Mahomes was about to light Detroit up. I did, but when they came out, Detroit, I was like, Detroit, we gotta play you. Okay,
they exposed them, and they said, "We're gonna see you later on." Play simple. Detroit came out. They did their thing. They played the football the way it was supposed to be played. They took their licks. They stayed humble. They came through every single game. Their defense was officials from game one. The offense basically had some people in, out. They finally, I'm glad that they finally started putting Gibbs into the mix with Montgomery because they was basically feeding Montgomery.
Yeah.
But I wish that
they had their tight end.
Laporta? Yo, bro, I'm so sick that I missed out on Laporta in the fantasy league.
I got him in all my fantasy. Laporta saved my. Let me tell you, Laporta is a beast of a tight, and the fact that he's only a rookie, he's a rookie.
Shout out to all my tight end rookies out there making waves. My man McBride out there. My man Kincaid. I picked up Kincaid. I thought he was going to do it, but I was like, damn, Laporta.
Hey, Green Bay's tight ends are killing it too. Green Bay's tight ends are showing. I don't know what is up with these tight ends coming into the league this year, but they are balling. They hey, I mean, who was it? I honestly was thinking too that I was just like, yo, the Chiefs. I mean, if y'all not gonna go ahead and basically, get another wide receiver that you trust, go ahead and get another tight end on the other end. Do that Gonzalez Gronk. That Gonzalez Gronk. Yeah, what? You realize no other team has done that since the Patriots. No other team has done the dual tight end as wide receivers like the Patriots.
The Steelers kind of try. Because they have what's Freiermuth. They got Freiermuth, and then they always basically go to this other dude. And when you focusing on this other dude, then Freiermuth has a 2 touchdown.
But they didn't run them like wide receivers like the Patriots. The Patriots ran Gronk and Gonzalez like they were freaking wide receivers.
With Wes Welker coming across the middle. What? Somebody needs to go get that playbook, bro.
Think about it. Who was their deep threat at wide receiver when they were playing? There wasn't one.
I don't know.
Wasn't one exactly. Gronk went deep. Gonzalez did the inside route, and then you had Wes Welker at the third slot running the slant. That was their offense. That was their entire offense.
And they mashed it out and went to the championship with it. I mean, I'm honestly, I feel like I'm shocked that Andy Reid hasn't tried it yet. Because I mean, I could see if anybody could do it, Andy Reid could do it. But I mean, hey.
But unfortunately, look at their wide receivers this year.
That's why I'm just like, yo.
If they had Stickum on their hands, they still couldn't catch the ball.
They was so garbage. I'm glad they got their homeboy Rice is basically finally starting to shape up, but I still don't see him as that deep threat like that Tyreek.
Because he still can't hold on to the football. The man has had so many touchdown catches that would have been touchdowns if he didn't fumble it. But that is what it is. Anyway, congrats to Detroit. Great job. I salute you guys.
Absolutely.
I would love, and I'm going to put this out there. Imagine a Green Bay versus Detroit NFC Championship game.
Ooh. Yo, I would just have to give it up to the whole entire division, son. I would just have to give it up
the last time that happened. Can you name the last time an NFC Championship game happened between two of the same team from the same conference? I can name it.
Long time.
Actually, not that long ago.
I'm about to say, what was that? Was that NFC East? But go ahead.
Nope. NFC North, Green Bay versus the Bears.
The Bears. Oh, I would have said the Vikings.
Green Bay was Green Bay versus the Bears. Green Bay beat the Bears to go to the championship.
What was that? 15 years ago? 20 years ago?
Mm-hmm. That's where we went.
Hey, that's why I love divisional. I love when you really look into the divisions of football too. Basically, where like from the beginning of the season, we had a discussion about the NFC North, and we were just like, "Oh, I don't know who's going to be basically left out because
Minnesota,
good.
Minnesota, Detroit,
Green Bay. What's up?
We knew the Bears weren't going to be there. We knew the Bears
wasn't going to be there because Fields was good, but Fields wasn't that good. He wasn't going to be. I mean, he would be the MVP candidate right now if he basically got the Bears to the playoffs, just to the playoffs, not even at the top seat, just to the playoffs. But but at the same time, all of those was a toss up. All the talking heads that I watched talk about what they thought about the season was coming up season. was just like, oh, everybody had a different team as a top team coming out of that division, and that to me is the showing of a great division. Not the days of when Bill Belichick was running the AFC.
Oh my gosh, and
North
the AFC
every single year.
What was it? 15 straight years where the Patriots just had a chokehold on the AFC East.
Exactly until Allen came to Buffalo.
Right.
The first time they actually had some type of competition going on out there. Bill Belichick ate good. That to me is why I was just like, okay, if I was Bill Belichick, I'd be trying to go to one of those teams too. A team that is in a bad division, and you can basically take that team and build it. But he don't got the time like that. But I'm not gonna rehash that horse and beat it to death. All right, Chiefs Dolphins. Go ahead. What you got?
Chiefs Dolphins. There's not much to say about that. The moment Miami lost to Buffalo, it was a wrap. I knew at that moment that Miami had it made. All you had to do was beat Buffalo, and you got to play at home. You were in Miami, chilling, maxing, relaxing, sun and shade, and you were good.
Chilling real cool outside the pool,
right? But you dropped the ball and had to go play in minus 24 weather, which
is brick. You from Cali, but I've lived in New York and in Northeast Pennsylvania. Brick. 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 I'm talking about you could see your breath. You could barely get your hands out the glove. It's cold.
Look,
they tell do not drive outside.
When your breath freezes as it expels from your body, that's when you know it is too cold to be outside.
Did you see Andy Reeves' mustache?
Oh,
it was like testicles in that bitch. It's like, was that sweat or was that snot? I don't know. It don't matter. It's cold.
His face was frozen. Mustache, snot. Every spit. He couldn't even spit because his mouth was frozen.
Son, Mahomes, his whole helmet cracked.
Bro. He's so cold, your helmet breaks. So yeah, we don't
not supposed to break. Broke.
Yeah, that game was a wrap. That game was done. The moment Miami stepped foot in Kansas City, we can go ahead and just call. So Kansas City, congratulations.
Absolutely. I give Kansas City props. They basically kept the Dolphins to 7 points whole entire game.
We all knew what it was. Like we all knew what was going to happen.
Absolutely, it's cold weather. That kind of stuff don't travel. Throwing the ball, high winds, cold weather. It was basically Kansas City's team's game to lose. They played a clean game, no sacks, one touchdown thrown by Mahomes, but he controlled the game. Pacheco was out there running. He basically, when he exploded, he got the ball, boom. That he was just like unconscious running through them holes. He was unconscious. So I was just like, Pacheco running like that, it's gonna be a game. Period.
Yep. So, that game was a wrap from beginning to end. It wasn't even close. It wasn't even close.
Bigger than it was. Kelsey dropped a really big pass.
Kelsey has been dropping passes like the rest of the wide receivers all year long. I don't know what's going on in his. Don't do that. I know where you're going. I know where you're going. I know that look. I've known you long enough. I know that look. Don't go there. Don't. We ain't bringing her up on this show. We ain't doing it.
I don't do that. I'm a Beyonce fan, so I'm not gonna say her name. But at the same time, I'm just saying, son. Hey, Captain. Hey, bro. Keep your head in the game, son. Keep your head in the game. That's all I gotta say. You dropping balls, and that ain't you. That ain't you. That's all I gotta say.
All right. So
they won the game. That's all that matters.
I do want to bring up that you brought up the Bears earlier. And since we were talking about the Bears, I want to bring up the Bears have the number 1 draft pick. They also have the number 9 draft pick.
Sure do.
An hour ago, Caleb Williams announced he is entering into the NFL draft.
Yes. He was trying to hold himself.
Because he did not want to go to the Bears. He did not. Now, I don't blame him because the last 4 quarterbacks that they drafted, the Bears have fumbled the ball horribly and ruin their careers.
They damn near ruined their careers. Trubisky is basically a backup to nobody.
Yep.
He's a
And
backup to nobody.
so yes, the Bears have ruined quarterback careers. So with that being said, do the Bears draft Caleb and trade
Fields.
Justin Fields, or do they keep Justin Fields and go get Marvin Harrison Jr. with the number 1 pick?
I think that it's too early to quit on Fields. Because I mean, every single year is going to have quarterbacks, and every single Heisman winner or top quarterback don't mean shit in the NFL. Plain and simple. Look at the top quarterbacks in the last 10 years. Lamar Jackson, Tom Brady.
Tom Brady? What? No. Tom Brady didn't get drafted in round 7.
No, that's what I'm saying. The top quarterbacks for the last several
you mean
years,
okay? Didn't come into round 1? Okay, yeah. I see you.
They came late in round 1.
Yeah, I see you.
Patrick Mahomes. Yep. None of these dudes was top draft picks. You're basically going off of what it looks like for college. But it doesn't
translate. It doesn't translate.
Equally translate. You know what I mean? So
I agree.
For all the UFC, you call it quarterbacks that won Heisman's, none of them did shit. None of them.
Only one did. Only one.
Which one?
And he played for the Bengals for forever. That was it.
What's his name again? I forgot his name.
I could picture his head. I could picture his face. Anyway, but yeah, he played for the Bengals. He played for the Bengals, and then he went to the Raiders when he retired and came back. But he's the only USC quarterback that has been successful in the NFL.
So no, there's no guarantees. So he could basically, I get it. It'll be great. I think I heard something that said that he would love to play for the Giants, and that's where he would like to go because he wants to play for a big market team, and that's great. And personally, I'm just like, yeah, that would be great. I actually liked Caleb until he was kind of crying a little bit too much after losses. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
He's not going to want to play in New York. You can't be a crybaby and play in New York. That's a wrong market for you to play in.
We will eat you alive.
No.
We will drink those tears.
You cannot play in New York and be in your feelings. New York won't eat. Man, please, you better suck. Shoot.
There's no crying in football. There's crying in football. I'm just saying, it is what it is. I'm not saying
you can hold on. We all jokes aside. You can cry in football.
Healthy relationship.
You can healthily cry for, but bruh, you can't sit on the sideline in your mama's lap crying because you lost the game in New York. In New York football, bruh, the New York market will massively.
Forget the press. The fans will kill you. I got several fans right now that are my good friends in New York still, and they would tear him apart. Don't get me wrong. I feel like I get it, and I get it. I'm an emotional person too. When I basically am angry or really or sad about something, I will drop a tear, and I have no shame for it. Plain and simple. But
I don't, and that's okay. That's okay.
That's fine. And I feel I'm not a man, obviously, but I feel like men should feel okay to express feelings. At the same time, I feel like there's a time and place kind of where, as far as it's just like this. I remember back when I used to I've been working in law firms, and this telling something about my personal life, but I've been working in law firms for a very long time. When I came here, I was working for a firm, and I met a friend of mine in the bathroom, and she was crying, bawling her eyes out. And that's because she basically came out of one of the attorney's offices, and she, I guess, just had a really bad experience with that person. But she said, I was just like, did she make you cry? She was just like, not in there. I would not cry in front of her. I refused to cry in front of her. I came into the bathroom and I cried here. And I get it. Sometimes that might not be a preferable to a psychologist. That might not be a preferable thing to do, but at the same time, that is a psychological wall that you do need to build up for survival, to not let people that you feel as your opponents see your weakness or see that they are affecting you, because they want to see you strong. Your teammates want to see you strong. Your teammates want to see you lose the worst game of your entire life and be like, you know what? It's all on me. And you know what? I'll take that. I'll take that hit. I need to be a better leader. I need to be, I need to basically, do my best next time. They don't want to see you basically, in the stands. I'm sorry, Caleb. I mean, I would love to have you, and I still would love to have you. At the same time, that is something that people are going to bring up. They're going to bring it up. They're going to bring it up.
There are certain markets. There are certain markets in the NFL that you got to have some real thick skin.
Thick skin.
Thick. Number one on that list is New York City.
New York, LA.
New York City, you have to have some thick skin. The next one on that list is Dallas.
Absolutely.
Dallas is next on that list. Like, if you get drafted into those two teams, you better be prepared to hear it from not only the fans, but you're going to hear it from the media. Yes, the media is going to, and if you can't take it, if you get emotional, and they're going to eat you up and spit you out and then do it all over again.
Hey man, the fans will come up to you while you're having dinner with your family and tell you trash.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
That's how.
Oh my God. Yes.
Yo, you trash, man. Pay better.
Facts.
It's what it is.
Facts. That's what people were. That's why when Aaron Rodgers went to the Jets, they're like, "Oh no, can Aaron take it?" But the Jets,
here for the
love Rodgers.
Aaron's here for the shits. He is built. He was the best kept secret in Green Bay. He was made for. He wants that attention. He wants that attention, and that's the saddest thing about it, with the fact we didn't get that all year. But this next year, hopefully, we're gonna get it. So okay, last one. Texans, Browns. That's a shock of the whole entire season for me. Although I was just like, Texans has a hypercharged offense. The Browns were shutting down everybody. The Browns were shutting down everybody. So I was like, with Flacco could put up 24. I mean, he should be able to. I was just like, the Texans.
We got to be real on this one.
Go ahead.
I never saw this coming. I know you never saw this coming. Did nobody see this? They're CJ mother freaking Stroud, sir. We give you a salute because you a freaking G. Oh my gosh.
He said no business.
He
said, I'm doing this standing up business. I'm doing. Simple.
This CJ. Man, he ain't no rookie. I'm sorry. He ain't no rookie.
No. I mean,
this man has ice in his veins. He does not. He literally is balling his ass off. I mean, he is killing it.
Did you catch that picture of Deshaun Watson on the sidelines? He looked so salty. He was just like, he looked.
Okay, this has to go down as the absolute worst trade in NFL history. And there have been some bad trades in NFL history. Dallas and Minnesota, I mean, that's how Dallas was able to win those 3 championships, because they did that trade with Minnesota, and they got that's how they got Emmitt Smith, and that's how they got them all.
Right.
But this right here, if it wasn't for the fact that they did this trade to get Deshaun Watson, there would be no CJ Stroud. at all. There would be no Nico Collins. There would be none of this. So Browns right now, they are after that game, they're like,
I'm proud of Nico and Stroud. Absolutely. I mean, I
and they
I
lost their number
believe,
one wide receiver. They
and
lost
they
their number
lost
one
Tank.
wide receiver.
Oh my God, they had Tank. My goodness, it would have
Yes,
been
imagine if Tank
ugly.
Hill was playing.
Ugly.
You,
It would
you,
have been
you just
ugly.
imagine, yes, imagine if Tank was playing. Do you realize how
No.
horrible that game would have gone?
Woof. I tell you right now, Tank. It. They stumbled upon a perfect blend, and it's just like, and CJ Stroud is I mean, my man's poised. I mean, coming from Ohio State, you can only be that. You can only be that.
Ohio State has never produced a successful NFL quarterback ever.
Yeah. Well, the old boy who basically died the other day, I thought he would be pretty good. Who was he? He was was he with the Steelers? I forgot his name. Damn. I'll hit you back with it. But he died in like a car accident or something like that. He was the quarterback. I forgot which team. God dang it. Anyway, I'll get back to you. But don't get me wrong. Yeah, I feel you. A lot of Ohio State quarterbacks haven't been great, but I felt like Stroud was pretty good. I mean, the thing is playing in the Big Ten, you have to run the gauntlet of Penn State and Michigan every single year.
That's it.
Twice a year.
That's
Not
it.
Twice a year. So I'm saying once a year. So
that's all they got. They got Minnesota, Iowa,
but those are
Michigan State.
But those are the teams that basically are in your way of getting the championship, because those teams, Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State every single year. And I'm a Penn State alumni, so I've lived this for 20 something plus years. But those players in Michigan and Ohio State, don't get me wrong, they're not all world players basically, but at the same time, those two teams going into the playoffs every single year, and they're focused on basically beating those teams and making it to the championship. That's their focus. Their only focus in life, Ohio State and Michigan, only focus beating Ohio State or beating Michigan and make it to the championship every single year. And to have that type of expectation and poise on you, you come out with some kind of chip on your shoulder. At the very least, you come up with some kind of chip on your shoulder. And CJ Stroud showed that no matter how young he is, he is mature, he is talented, he is poised. And I mean, I didn't see this coming from him. Don't get me wrong. I mean, like I said, like you said, and like we said, USC, all these top Zach Wilson and all these top quarterbacks that have come up in the top 1 to 4 in the draft have been trash. But some of these players squeak through a couple of picks later that basically end up being really, really good. And CJ Stroud just happened to be one of those dudes. And he's in a perfect situation with a coach that is willing to grow with him. And they have weapons everywhere.
Again, salute to the head coach. First year head coach.
Not Nico.
He is, come on now.
Yeah.
Now, what makes it awesome is the fact that he was the Texans. When the Texans were great, he was their starting linebacker. He knows the culture. He knows the team. Absolutely. So he came in. He didn't have a chip on his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't.
No.
He came in and was like, all right, guys.
It's hard work.
What is it that you need from me? I remember I heard this interview where they when he first came in, they interviewed him and he was like, hey, how has the first, few months been for you as a first-time head coach? And he said the first thing he did was talk to his team and ask, what do you need from me? What is it you need from me so that we can be successful?
Mm-hmm.
That goes to show you he needed to hear from his team what was missing, what they felt was missing for them to be successful.
I mean, and that is to me what the new generation of coaches coming into the NFL is basically showing you, and why they are so successful. These coaches who used to be players, who understand what the player needs and wants, and most of the things that the number one thing that a player wants you to do is to tell them what you want them to do, or for them to let you know what they are thinking, and for you to let them know that you hear them, you're understanding what they feel, and you know what they feel. They know that you know what they're feeling because you've been there. You're not just some guy who basically played, who I'm not played, that basically was a assistant coach or a video coordinator under some dude back in, like, when he was a manager with the team back in college, and somehow now he's an NFL coach and he never played one down himself. You know what I'm saying? How do you respect a Jeff Van Gundy who hasn't played since high school or freshman year of college? You know, this generation of players respect people who have done it before. You know what I mean?
That or they're young enough to understand the new way of playing ball. Think about it. You have now these head coaches who are in their 30s.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? 36, 34, 37. They can relate to right. So they don't have the old school mindset of, all right, this is how we got to do it. You need to listen to me. Shut the hell up. They ain't doing the Bill Parcells.
You're outside and your mama rings the dinner bell. And your friend tells you, go down and I'm going to turn around and I'll throw it to you. You know, it's insulting. It's insulting because it's just like, okay, that's why I feel like some players basically are, or at least most players to me, on whatever either side of the ball, would relate more to a coach that actually played. You're not just being a coach, especially with these coaches. They trade coaches like a merry-go-round nowadays. Every 3 years, they give you a brand new coach.
Right. You get 1 year to turn it. Like, what you gonna do in 1 year? So, if you won one game last year, you think you giving me 1 year? And all of a sudden, we're gonna go to the playoffs in one. Come on now.
Or you ain't never played and you barely been a coach, but you gonna tell me how to play football? Is that what this is going to go? Is that what's going to happen? I basically traveled all around the whole entire country playing football with my family and my fans and my friends, and basically my whole entire life has been football. You have just watched it on video, and you gonna tell me about how it feels to get hit coming across the middle? Is that what you're going to tell me? Is that what you're going to tell me, to how it feels to stop somebody on the 1 yard line on a 4th down? Is that what you're going to tell me? You can't tell me those kind of pressure situations. You can't teach me those kind of pressure situations. You can only tell me you can relate to me because you've done it too. And that's why more coaches who are seeing success, because they get the buy-in from the players, and that's why the Raiders is about.
That's why the Raiders were successful. Once they got rid of the coach, when McDaniels was gone, they got rid of him. Guess who stepped up? The former player.
Absolutely.
And they balled out. The Raiders were balled. If they don't bring him back as head coach, that has got to be the biggest drop.
This player's already asking for trades if he doesn't become coach. Asking for trades if he doesn't become coach.
That tells you that they absolutely, when you got players who are talking about, we want to trade because you're getting rid of our coach, you just lost the locker room. As the owner, you lost your team, because that means
the fact that at the end of the last season, you didn't already just go ahead and say, you know what, Antonio is going to be our coach going into next year.
Which was a mistake. That was a mistake. Antonio should have immediately, the moment the season ended. I know they couldn't do it, during this, which technically the season is still going, so they can still do it. But they should have already done it. They should have said they should have. Antonio proved he not only has the respect of the fans. You see how Raider Nation has surrounded Antonio? He has the respect of the players. Your best defensive men as your D end is talking about, I'm going to leave Max Crosby. I'm going to ask for a trade if you don't bring my coach back. You
Absolutely.
lose Max Crosby, just wipe away the season.
Wipe away the season.
Wipe away the season.
Which to me, and I like to believe we spoke about this earlier in the season too, about the fact that they have a person of color as their president, a person of color as their GM, and now they have Antonio Pierce
as
their head coach.
First team
And
ever
for
to
you to
have
throw
it
that
on
out the
each
window,
level. First team to have it at each level.
For you to throw that out the window is so deaf. Is basically it shows that you don't care. So I mean, besides the fact that you already moved the team from LA to Oakland and now to Los Angeles, you don't give a shit about who the players want to have as their coach or who they decided that they want to play for. You sound complete. You're complete. If they do that, that shows that basically they're completely deaf. I mean, it's just another showing of the fact that these NFL owners don't give a damn. They're just basically trying to scratch backs. That's all they're trying to do. They're just trying to help their peoples, and basically they're not really trying to win games. And trust me when I say Antonio Pierce is in there to win games. He's in there to win games. He's won the championship.
The fact that the Raiders at that point in time were I think 5 games under 500 when he took over.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they went on a 5-game win streak.
They were still in the hunt. At the end of the season, they was in the hunt still.
Exactly. They literally were 1 game out of being able to make it to the playoffs. That goes to show you where he was in his head on how to actually. He had his team believing that they were going to win.
Absolutely.
And he didn't even have a quarterback. He had a rookie playing that nobody actually saw, but the rookie quarterback actually played pretty damn well.
Not even Garoppolo.
But still,
exactly. Right.
He had the entire team from every single level believing we got this.
Right.
They beat Kansas City. They beat Denver. They beat Indianapolis. Mm-hmm. I mean, they had everybody believing that the Raiders were legit. Exactly. So if the Raiders don't bring him back, will be the ultimate spit in the face.
Absolutely. Ultimate spit in the face. I mean, and isn't to me personally, I don't think about the whole black coach, white coach thing. I mean, I think that basically enough teams have enough ethnicities on every single team, and they're respected across the board as far as being a player. If you're a player, you played there. I think that there's a certain respect. It doesn't have to be white or have to be black. I mean, players are not that close-minded or small-minded. I think that that's what they're missing. But to have a player coach is a definite benefit that anybody could basically have for their team, not just having a coach with experience, but also a coach with player experience. Those teams are the ones that I'm looking at the most, absolutely, because I feel like they can go the furthest if their teams are assembled in a proper way. They're well balanced. Those teams could go far because
they understand the players and their drive, their motivation. They understand what drives them to be successful. To
they can meet
eye to eye. They see them eye to eye. So Antonio Pierce was your squad. Absolutely. He's from your team. He was a beast at linebacker. Mm-hmm. Beast at linebacker. So he knows what it feels like to play in cold weather when you are down by 2 and 3 scores and have to grind and fight to come back and win.
He knows how it feels. To be a wild card and run through and run through to
run the gauntlet. He knows
to scratch and get into the playoffs. He knows how that feels, and the focus that you have to continue to have to win week to week and not be 1, 2, 3 Cancun. That's basically, he understands that, and for teams. I mean, I understand that every single coach doesn't have to be that. But at the same time, those coaches I feel are at a premium. They should be sought out. They should be taken underneath their wing, and more teams should fast track them towards coaching instead of basically keeping them on the sidelines and having these other coaches who have never achieved on that level or playing you have those players there bolstering and holding them up, rather than them being the real ones who actually really did it. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So
You're right. You're right.
They're carrying the teams, and I just want them to get their respect. That's all it is, plain and simple. So anyway, right. I don't want to hold you anymore. Today we have, obviously, the Bills are killing the Steelers 21-17. Not killing. They're up by 2 touchdowns. But at the same time, who do you have winning this game? Bills, Steelers.
So this game, I got the Bills. The Bills have been balling the last 5 games. I mean, they the moment they got a new offensive coordinator, it has been a storm for the Bills. Like, they're a whole new team from on offense, and they have been blazing teams. So I got the Bills taking this and setting up for a 3rd straight year. Buffalo versus Kansas City. This time, though, there is a difference. Do you know what the difference is?
Kansas City is a one-dimensional offense.
Patrick Mahomes will play his very first playoff game on the road.
Oh, yes, he is.
He will play in Buffalo. Buffalo always went to Kansas City. Kansas City now has to come to Buffalo.
Absolutely.
That game is going to be legit.
Right. But unlike the Dallas Cowboys, Buffalo's not looking past that team to the Chiefs. They're basically going to take care of business tonight, and they're going to do their damn thing. Yeah, absolutely. I felt like that to me was going to be the matchup that's going to basically make or break the Super Bowl. Plain and simple. I mean, that person, whoever wins this, is going to basically go up against Baltimore sooner or later. But at the same time, Kansas City, I wish you well, because of the fact that your team is very, very. I mean, y'all did what y'all had to do against who y'all play? The Dolphins.
Miami.
Did what I had to do.
But Miami's been falling.
Their defense is suspect. They're very, they're injuries all over the whole defense.
Yep.
And I feel like the Chiefs is trying to get out of being a one-dimensional offense. But hey, I mean, we'll see what goes on. But that's going to be a great matchup. Hopefully next week we'll talk about that again. Also, we have tonight the Eagles and the Bucks. Who you got?
Bucks. Eagles have been a shadow. Eagles have been a shadow of themselves. Like, I don't know what happened to the Eagles. Who put some juju out on them? I don't know who who went to Louisiana and decided to find a shaman, or whatever.
I did, but I wish I did.
Somebody did something, because they went from being dominant to being not even mediocre. They're not even mediocre. Right. But then, not to mention, AJ Brown is not playing. He's hurt. He's out the game.
That's so
you just took away your big, deep threat weapon.
And they got Godwin and Evans on the other side.
Right. And then Jalen Hurts, his on his throwing hand, his fingers broke. So I'm sorry. But now I will say this, and I am shocked. I am stunned. I'm flabbergasted. Baker motherfucking Mayfield.
Feeling dangerous. He's feeling dangerous.
Where did he come from? Where was this when he played with Cleveland?
I think that what happened was with Baker, he had too much control in Cleveland, and as far as play, he wasn't playing the way he's supposed to play. Out here, brand new team, brand new system. You better mind your P's and Q's, or else you'll be on the bench. And they basically got him in line, and he has two receivers. And I don't like the fact that he always tries to go heavy towards one receiver, because Godwin hasn't gotten the kind of attention that he's supposed to get. But at the same time,
I tell Mike Evans to stop catching touchdowns then.
I mean, damn it. Mike Evans is good. You can't tell him to stop. But I'm saying, he's like Josh Allen, this digging it into
Again,
Diggs. It's
if you want to look, if you want to give it to Godwin, tell Mike Evans to stop catching touchdowns, damn. Okay.
All right, that's gonna mess them up when he gets against the better teams. That has two good backs that can basically guard these two dudes. They could double up on one and guard the other one really, really well. I mean, I'm just saying it makes them it takes away from their abilities. But
I agree.
Baker, since Oklahoma.
Baker is Baker. Yes, Baker is. He came to Tampa and has balled. I mean, he is looking like
he has rediscovered himself.
He has. He absolutely has. So I'm interested to see, does this translate over to the, because we said it earlier, seasoned player, seasoned coach is not the same thing as playoff.
But Baker has played deep into the playoffs in college. So I'm not saying that he has no experience. But
college and NFL are nowhere near the same.
No,
they're not. The pressure from an NFL playoff and the pressure from a college, nowhere near the same. Because you got to deal with a lot of chirp in the NFL. You have a lot of people talking, look, man, if you don't win this, man, this reminds you on a 1-year contract. Man, your contract, you're hearing a lot of stuff. A lot of voices.
There's a lot more at stake.
So, but yes, Baker has been balling. So I give it to Tampa. Tampa's defense has been stepping up. I don't think the Eagles. I don't see. I hope it's not a blowout. I do. I want to see a good game, but I got to give it to Tampa. So, yeah, I'm giving it up for Tampa.
I feel you. Absolutely. Honestly, I'm going Tampa too. I was just basically trying to play devil's advocate. But at the same time, I'm never going to root for the Eagles. I'm never going to root for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm never going to root for the Washington Redskins. Washington Commanders.
Unbiased.
F that. It's my team. It's my game. It's my show. And we Giants around here. We Giants. So at the same time, I mean, hey, don't get me wrong. I'm unbiased. When a team is good, a team is good. I expected the Dallas Cowboys to do what they're supposed to do, but they was garbage and they was trash and they proved exactly who they was. Philly, they did what they had to do, but for some reason they just I don't know.
They've been shitting the bricks for the last 6 weeks. Let's call it spade a spade.
I love
Let's
Jalen
call
Hurts.
it real. Yeah, I don't know what team or, again, whoever went to Louisiana and found a shaman and put whatever juju they put on Philly, you succeeded big time.
Absolutely. So, hey, I go for the Bucks too. Hopefully that's what happens. And Eagles could basically, and all of us could sit at home looking at each other like, so that's all I hope. So,
well, I know we're about to close it out, but I got to ask you before we go, since we only know one team that's playing next week, Packers, Niners, who are you running with?
I'm gonna go with the Niners. I mean, come on now. It is what it is. I mean, hey, the Niners can wet the bed too. It has happened. So, but at the same time, that defense, that offense, Mike Shanahan on top of it. I mean, is that Mike or yeah.
It's Mike Shanahan.
Yeah. So it should be no reason why they shouldn't win. But hey, house money. All that
Green Bay got nothing. Green Bay got nothing to lose. They can pull out every stunt play, every this. We have nothing to prove and nothing to lose. Everybody expects us to lose. So why not balls to the wall and go have a field day? Absolutely.
All right. So thank you, Omarr. Truly appreciate it, man. You have a great evening. Everybody out there, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate y'all. Please go ahead and watch the show if you haven't before, or go ahead and subscribe, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, Call Me Nakomi, Instagram on X at Call Me Nakomi1. And I'm gonna holler at y'all next time. Omarr, you take care, and I'm gonna talk to y'all soon.
I got one last thing to say before we sign out. How about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowgirls? Holler at that.
Have a good one. Thanks.
You too, man. Have a good one.